Hi, this is Becca. Thanks for tuning into my channel. And today I'm going to take this Franklin planner, it's a rings planner, and try to turn it into a traveler's notebook. And I never really got a good use out of it as a rings planner, so I'm hoping that I will be able to use it a little more once I do that. I've kind of looked at it a little bit so that I'm not just fumbling around, but it's a real nice planner. I always liked it, but the rings aren't horribly bad, but it just wasn't what I needed. The inserts that came with it, even though I make inserts and could make them bigger, but I just didn't like how little space she had, so I thought, well, I might try to turn it into a traveler's notebook. So I've taken everything out, and if you have a Franklin planner, the good news is, at least in this one, I don't know if they still do it because this is, like I said, an older version. They have their little rings that you can take these little wrenches, they're like bicycle wrenches, the Allen wrenches maybe, I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but if you find the right one, you can just screw them out. Now other people have to drill them out sometimes, or they cut them out or pry them out, but these just screw out. La. Very cool. So that's going to be really easy. Now what we find underneath, I'm not real sure. There's probably going to be a plate underneath there that I have to figure out how to get it out. Okay, so this rings should come right off. Yay! Okay, so, well, it doesn't really look like there is, or feel like there is a plate in there. Just kind of looks like these are kind of just pried in there and folded over. So I'm gonna go and get a screwdriver, and I think we might be able to pry those out. Okay, so a lot has happened in just the last second there for you, but several minutes for me. I kind of wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing before I continued on, but when I left you, I had taken off my rings, and I was trying to decide the best way to remove this. And what I found was that if I used my pliers, and somewhere I stuck my pliers here, there, and just turned this, because it just looks like they're just kind of turned in there. So if I turn it and loosen these guys up, see, now it's actually not even hooked up in there, it's loose. However, it's still behind this leather backing. So what I had to do, and I mean, I've seen some people cut the edge right here, but this has kind of got a nice fold, and I don't think it would do that very well. So I just went under the flap here on the side, and I did it in the middle so that I could do one spot, and I got the one up top out. And so I can just come in here on this one. I'm going to hopefully try to keep it in the view here. And bring that guy out. I lost him. There he is. Here it comes. Okay, so once you get him out, really I didn't have that much trouble the first time. Okay, so he's out. Now, the other thing I did was I went ahead and measured and punched my holes, and I put nice grommets in so that it looks really nice and finished on the outside. I think if I'd had little taller grommets, they looked like this. If I had little taller ones, they might have done better. I had these here, but I think they would have just been too big, but I think the depth would have been better. So, but I didn't, so I chose to just continue on, and that's gonna hold fine. It just isn't as pretty as it would look if I'd had maybe some deeper grommets. But what I did was I tried a couple different methods. I happen to have one of these leather punch tools, which is really nice, and it did work pretty good, but really I ended up using this little guy here. And what it is it's just a little punch kit. This comes off. It has different size heads. I used the largest one. And then you just take it and you line it up with the hole you want, and you grab your hammer that I had nice and ready when I was doing it. And I seem to have lost my hammer. Oh, here it is. Okay, so you just take your hammer, and I did it on a concrete surface so that I wasn't banging into my table here, my work surface, and you just whack and whack, and it really does a nice clean hole. And there's like 2 pieces of leather and some little padding in there and some fabric, so it did pretty good, and I think it worked much better. And this is like a little cheapy thing I got at Michael's. It was a kit. It comes with, you know, different pieces, and then you buy these separately. And you can do it with just this mat underneath. It's a self-healing mat, but I still wouldn't recommend doing it on a table because you have to pound pretty good. And then once you have your holes done, you take your grommet and you push it up through your hole, and I had to push around to make sure that my edge was clear. It wasn't being hidden by any of the leather. And then you take this part of your punch kit, and what this does is it's going to spread that guy out once you punch and end up looking like this. So you just take it, and again, on a concrete floor, whack, 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 until it's all nice and, I mean, it's grabbing there. There's no way that's going to let go. So I did that. I did 3. I chose to do 3 because I want to stuff this. I want it to be a pretty chunky guy. So I did that, and I didn't really like these holes. Now they're going to be covered up with elastic and notebooks, but still, I kind of crazy about things like that. It would bug me. So I had also, I have always been a crafter, so I have lots of little tools. I had this whole set of snaps, and I'm not really sure exactly what this portion of it is called, but if you look at it, it's pretty good size, so it's going to cover that pretty good. But it's got little teeth in it that once you put in place underneath there, and what I did was, I don't want it to go through this leather. You see, it didn't go through this one up here, and that's on there really good. That's on there tight. What I did was, I have had this, for lack of anything else, I had this metal measuring L square guy, or my husband had it, and what I did was stuck it through here and down into, I managed to get it down there, and put this guy on here, and I just gave the hammer a whack a couple times, and it was in. I'll have to move it down to the concrete floor to do it again, so I'll wait and do that afterwards. But basically, that's what gets this, and these teeth spread out. And if you whack it good enough, you might get a little dent in it like I did there, because maybe I didn't get a clean whack or something. But that's going to go there. And I'm going to put a little bead of glue here, just so that my string doesn't keep unraveling. I didn't cut it, so I kept the string as long as I could so that I can kind of glue that down in place. And I'm not going to worry about stitching it or anything. I'm just going to stick some glue there since it's kind of hidden anyways. But I'm going to, you know, protect it with something so it's when I glue, I'm going to have something there so it doesn't get glued to this top. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so then pretty much the only thing left to do is your elastic. And unfortunately, the only elastic I have here to do it is this nice rainbow elastic, which is really probably the last thing I would ever want in my journal. But that's what I've got for right now, and I will be getting some true Traveler's Notebook elastic, probably in brown because I do have brown stitching around the edge. If I could find this kind of bone color, I would, but I doubt that that's going to happen. So basically, when you're going through your, when you have 3 rings, it's kind of not real tricky, but you're going to end up trying to, I might actually have to cut it. I'm measuring it 4 times because I'm actually going to have 4 loops on it. And I'll give it a little bit of extra here. Not really worried about running out of that because I don't like that anyways. Okay, so I'm going to come down here and I'm going to leave that because that's going to be my other end. And then I'm going to come over here into the middle one. So that on the back I just have it like that. Then I'm going to come down here. So I've got the center one done. I'm going to come up through here. And then down through here. And then over it back to the middle one. And then back down, because I'm going to have 2 here in the middle. And then I'm going to come over here in this last little hole here. And I'm going to come up here. And then I'm going to come here. I had plenty of room. I'm going to come here and tie it up. And I like mine kind of snug, but not so much as they're going to distort the leather and grab the leather. So here I'm just going to knot it off, tie it, and I'm going to trim it. And there it's my new Traveler's Notebook. Now, okay, yes, I want it to be brown, and I think the real stuff is a little bit thinner. But, and I make my inserts. I make Traveler's Notebook inserts. And this one's just going to be like for notes and stuff. This one's for a different size. This is for a B6 size, and this is slightly smaller than a B6, as you can see right here. I could probably make them fit, but that would be a little awkward. But I'm going to be making some, and also do like my grids and then to-dos. And I'll do, and I have calendars and such. But for right now, I picked up this pretty Vera Bradley one on sale somewhere. And so just to show you how it's going to work. And sits in there like that, and I can hold 4 notebooks, and I can even, because of the nice little flap here, put one of these in the back flap, have one here, maybe even one here, so I have lots of notes here, and that's kind of mainly what I'm using this for. This is going to be my Bible War Journal. I don't know if you've ever heard of those. It's, if you ever watched The War Room from Patricia Shriver, I think it is. And anyway, so I'm creating this into my War Room journal, which once I get it all done, I'm going to be doing a video on what I did to get this. But there you go. That's how I turned my Rings Franklin planner into a traveler's notebook with 4 slots, 4 bands. Thanks for watching. Check me out again.